Welcome. My name is Dawn Hayes. I'm excited to share a practice with you today. You might find it helpful to have two blocks, a strap, and a blanket, or any household items that could kind of masquerade as yoga props today. If you don't have blocks, sometimes a chair or a step stool is helpful. And if you don't have a strap, a bathroom tie or a scarf or a belt can work well to make that connection. A blanket could easily be a beach towel or something that folds moderately thick and offers a little bit of lift and stability. We'll start practice today standing at the top of your mat. As you take your feet about hip distance apart, and if it's comfortable, you can close your eyes and or rest your hands on your torso. And take a moment to scan, starting in your feet and traveling up your legs, noticing any sensations or feelings that are a part of your physical experience today. Notice as you continue your scan upward, the rhythm and pace of your breath. If you have one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly, can you sense into which one is moving more in this moment? And if one is moving more than the other, which one is it? Is it possible to let your breath soften around the edges, which involves less of a doing and more of a stepping back? As you continue your scan, notice any other sensations through arms and hands, into neck, jaw. Can you soften your scalp, your forehead, your eyes? And take a moment to choose two words that describe your overall experience in this moment. One of the things I've noticed bringing this practice into my life in recent days and weeks is that there's many times throughout the day where these two words that I'm using to describe my experience are pretty contradictory or seem to be at odds with one another, but both are experienced at the same time and in the same moment in my life. The other observation I've made is that by identifying what I'm feeling and describing it, it helps to soften any prickly edges that I may be noticing or maybe reacting to. So when you're ready, you can open your eyes, let your arms hang. We're going to start with a little bit of a Qigong move. So have your feet about hip distance apart, bend your knees, let your arms hang like ropes, and bounce a little bit. And as you bounce a little bit, let the bouncing come from your knees and your legs, and your hips and your shoulders kind of follow along with your knees doing the bouncing. And your arms are really soft and hanging like ropes. So there's a feeling of them kind of jiggling around a little bit and maybe even leaning forward some. So if I turn from the side, it looks a little bit like this. And as you continue this bouncing, experiment, if it works for you, lifting your heels off the floor. So your balls of your feet stay down, but your heels start to do the bouncing. And it's going to send some shock waves up your bones. And notice what that feels like. Arms are still hanging like ropes as your heels do the bouncing. The balls of the feet continue their pressing into the floor. And then let heels stay down as you continue the bouncing with your knees. Hopefully you didn't just have breakfast. Maybe that comes later or earlier today. And then whenever you're ready, pause. Check in with what you're feeling. As you give it a little time to settle and soak, you may notice a little tingling or warmth in places. Then taking your feet even a little bit wider apart, start with like a sweeping movement. So take your right hand on your left arm and sweep down the outer arm. You can lean with your torso, sweep up the inner arm, go down your leg, up the back of the leg, transfer to the other side. Take your left hand, go outside the right arm, and then sweep up inside. So it's kind of a massage. Go down the front of your body on the right leg, up the leg to the back, rub in your kidneys in your back area, and then do one more time each arm, down the outside, down the leg, up the leg, across, kind of a sweeping massage style movement. You can let it be a little bit swaying, like with your torso and your legs like kelp. And then when you're ready, you can keep your feet wide and do a little bit of a swinging action with your torso and arms. Your arms are still hanging a little bit like they were before, so you're not really pulling with the arms. Let the movement come from the bending of your knees and the swinging spiral of your hips. And if you want, you can tap hands a little higher up towards even shoulders, feeling into what that's like for you. And then when you're ready, go ahead and pause and stop. Take your feet hip distance. If you'd like, you can bring your hands on your torso once again and sense what might be a little different as you scan through your body. Those are really simple, quick movements that can create a big shift and awareness in my body. So they're great breaks from computer work, can be done in an office. You don't need more than just a couple minutes. Whenever you're ready, bring your arms by your sides. Inhale, sweep your arms up, reach for the ceiling. Exhale, bend your knees, hinge, and fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift halfway, slide your hands towards your knees. And exhale, step your left foot to the floor behind you. You might want a little cushion under your knees, so feel free to pad your mat or bring the blanket. Now, also could be helpful to have blocks under your hands here, so you can track those. As you inhale, chest and hips move forward for a low lunge. Exhale, shift your hips back and bow over your front leg as it straightens. Inhale, hips move forward into a low lunge. Exhale, hips move back as you do more of the hamstring stretch. Move at the pace of your breath here with your hands on the blocks or the floor. You'll support your torso and your upper body some. If you would like to make this a little bit more dynamic, you can move your blocks off to the side, reach your arms up towards the sky on your inhale. To challenge your balance, you could sweep your arms behind you as you exhale. And experiment with a little bit more of the arm movement to see how it impacts your breath and the rest of the balance in this shape. As you finish the one you're on, exhale, step your back foot forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Can you straighten your legs, grip your toes into the floor, and lean forward like you're peering over the edge of a cliff? And it's very important that your feet stay really rooted and your legs push you back towards the stability of the earth. As you exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Step the other foot back behind you. Bring your knee to the floor. Hands can be on the blocks or on the earth as you move between that low lunge and the hamstring stretch, runner's lunge. Or sorry, not the runner's lunge. It's more like a hurdler stretch, I think. As you go back and forth this way, checking in with how the balance of the hands is supported by wherever you have them. And notice, is your back foot pointed or tucked under? There's not a right or a wrong, but notice what it is. If you'd like to experiment again here with the arms moving in this pattern, you can reach arms up towards ceiling as you're in the low lunge, and exhale, arms back behind you as you do the hamstring lengthening. As you continue to explore this pattern at your own pace, notice where it feels most stable and where it feels a little bit wobbly, if at all. And the next time you finish the one you're on, exhale, step your right foot forward. Come back to that halfway lift. Straighten your legs, grip your toes into the floor, and lean forward as much as you can, using your toes and the heels to create stability. Exhale, fold, chin to chest. Inhale, reach for the sky. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, arms by your sides. Samastiti. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, return to standing, arms by your sides. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, return to standing, arms by your sides. Repeat that a few more times, moving at the pace of your breath. Is it possible for your breath to begin a few seconds before your movement does? So you're hovering for a moment in the chair before you stand tall, and you're hovering for a moment in the mountain pose before you sit back down. Then next time you're in the chair pose, stay there, root your feet into the floor, and exhale, fold, hinging from your hips. Inhale, lift halfway, and exhale, step your left foot back behind you. Bring your knee to the floor again, but this time stand up over your left knee. So for this setup, you're gonna have your hip over your knee, so your thigh is vertical, and the shoulders over the knee. So it's not your lunge like we did forward here a moment ago. You can think of it as like you're on The Bachelor and you're about to propose, right? It's the kneeling down proposal position. Now, as you do that, take your right hand, which is your front leg, and bring it to your hip. Take the left arm, which is the down leg, and reach it up by your ear, and now side bend to the right. And I'm going to turn so you have another perspective. As you push down through the front foot, can you really find the center of your heel? Now your back hip stays over the knee. It's like you're trying to scissor your legs towards one another. Your front foot pulls down and back. Your back knee pulls down and forward as you reach your torso up and over. Now from here, how would it be to twist your ribs a little bit around and hook your elbow over your thigh? Bring your palms together. So still in that little bit of a 90-90 position with the legs. If you can you turn your belly? Then experiment with tucking your back toes under and lift your back knee, coming into more of a high lunge twist. As you exhale, bring back knee to the floor. Inhale, arms by your ears. As you exhale, take your hands to your front thigh, step into your front leg, use your back foot, push yourself up, return to standing. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, step your right foot and knee back. Come into that 90-90 position like you're gonna propose. Reach your right arm by your ear. Take your left hand to your hip and side bend towards the left. Go for the scissoring action of your legs, pulling the right knee forward, dragging the left foot back. Because your mat is sticky, they won't really go very far, but you'll get to feel some things happening in your torso and your legs with that effort. As you exhale, start to turn your right ribs over to the left, rotating. Hook your elbow over your thigh, palms together. You're still in this 90-90 position with the legs. Draw the belly, the ribs, the diaphragm around, creating a little compression in your diaphragm. If it's appropriate, lift your back knee and come into more of a runner's lunge, that lifted knee with a twist. Check in with your breath. What's it like? Can you encourage that sense of stability through the legs and awareness of the turning of your spine? When you're ready, back knee to the floor. Lift your torso, arms by your ears, with your back toes tucked under. You can have your hands on your front thigh, that can help. Push your way up to standing. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, downward facing dog. You can move your blanket off to the side. Inhale, plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Repeat, inhale, plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. As you travel forward and back, plank to down dog and back again. Notice the movements of your joints, the way the muscles change roles at different points. Some are doing the work and others are no longer. The next time you're in the plank pose, pause there. Bring your knees to the floor for chaturanga and lower in slow motion for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, cobra, lifting chest, legs stay strong. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up towards the sky. Stack the right hip over the left so you're turning your pelvis to the side, and make some circles with your right ankle. Go the other direction. Keep your hip open, bend your knee, almost like you're trying to push a button with your right foot. Press it towards the wall to your left, to the wall behind you. Inhale, straighten the leg. Turn your outer right hip towards your left foot. So now your hips are level to the floor. Notice how this will be more demanding on your abdominal and deep core muscles, as well as the left leg. Exhale, step your right foot between your hands for warrior 2. Ground your left heel. Inhale, lift your torso, arms by your sides. From the warrior 2, lean into side angle as you inhale. Exhale, back to warrior. Inhale, reverse side angle. Exhale, back to warrior. Repeat. Inhale, side angle. Exhale, warrior. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle. As you continue to follow your breath pattern here, notice how legs are very stable and probably getting tired. But your torso movement is going to enhance your attention there. When you're ready, windmill hands back to the earth, downward facing dog. From your down dog, inhale to plank, either straight legs or knees to the floor, slow motion chaturanga, like you're trying to prevent yourself from lowering to the floor. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg reaches for the sky, three-legged dog. Make some circles with your left foot and ankle. Go the other direction. Bend your left knee and press the foot towards the right, towards the wall behind you, like you're trying to push a button with your left foot. For me, this kind of brings to mind that Staples commercial with the easy button. If only it were so easy. When you're ready, reach your left leg back up. Turn your outer left hip down. Notice what it's like to have the pelvis level. Your left foot will point in the general direction of your right heel. And check in with how this makes your right leg work more, and how those center stabilizer muscles in your pelvis also have to work more. When you're ready, exhale, big step forward for warrior two. Ground your back heel. Lift your torso, arms reach up. Inhale, side angle. Exhale, warrior. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, warrior two. Keep following this pattern. Inhaling, exhaling, returning to neutral, and inhale, leaning away from your midline. Again, noticing how the leg, especially the front leg, is under a lot of demand here. It's doing a lot of work because of the way your bones are arranged on the earth. The torso, because it gets to move, doesn't get quite as tired quite as fast. The next time you windmill yourself to the side angle, find down dog and move through your vinyasa, which could be child's pose, could be table pose, could be any combination of stillness and movement that serves your practice. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Take an extra couple breaths in down dog. When you're ready, walk your hands very slowly with small steps to meet your feet. Can you keep your hips in the center without moving them and have the shoulders do more of the work? So at first, my hips were kind of swinging side to side to help me walk in. But then, if you bring attention, walk your hands back out to the plank. If you bring attention to your hips not moving and your legs staying equally stable into the floor, your shoulders will do more of the work to take you forward into the plank position. And then once you're in the plank, hold there. Give yourself a moment to really push into the hands, to push into your feet. And if it is appropriate for you, we'll do a push-up style movement where you'll lower your shoulders maybe 1 or 2 inches below where they are and then push back up to plank. So when you're ready, bend your elbows, lower a tiny bit, push back up. And then do that again. Slow lower, quick up. Last time, slow lower, quick up. Downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your heels. Look forward and step or walk your feet to meet your hands. You can hop. Inhale, lift halfway. Can you straighten your legs and lean forward like you're peering over that cliff again? Exhale, downward facing dog. Push into your feet. Inhale, reach for the sky. Exhale, arms by your sides. Pause for a moment. You can bring your hands to rest on your torso, perhaps one on your heart, one on your belly and diaphragm area. How quick is your heart beating? How has your breath changed? When you're ready, inhale, chair pose. Bend your knees, reach your arms up. Hover there. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift halfway, lengthen forward. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, reach your right leg up towards the ceiling, lift your left heel high. Exhale, step forward, high lunge. This time, bring your feet so it's like you're on a balance beam. Your front foot will be right behind, your front foot will be directly in front of your back heel. And if it feels okay here, take and lift your torso, bringing arms out to the sides. We experimented with this narrow position in class last week too. And it is designed to make your balance feel unstable. So how does your body accommodate that feeling of being unstable here? If you like, you can reach your arms up towards the ceiling, interlacing fingers, except for your pointer and your thumb, and challenge your balance even more by looking upward towards your hands. Now your back heel could be on the floor more like warrior one, but with it lifted, you get a little more space for your pelvis and a little bit more challenge for your balance. Exhale, hands to the floor, downward facing dog. Optional vinyasa, or any combination of stillness and movement. Sometimes I like to do Vashisthasana here, the side plank, but you can really move and explore as it feels good to you. We'll meet in downward facing dog. We'll do second side. Three-legged dog. Inhale, left leg reaches for the ceiling. Exhale, step your left foot between your hands and then line your feet up as if you were on a tightrope or a balance beam. And as you lift up, you can try arms out to the sides to begin. That can be helpful for the balance because it kind of gives you a little extra piece to adjust and catch yourself if it feels a bit wobbly. If you're feeling relatively stable today, you can reach your arms up for the ceiling, interlacing pinky ring, middle finger, extending your pointer finger and your thumb, possibly looking up towards the ceiling. When you look upward, your balance is definitely challenged. And so if you're on carpet, you have an added challenge. So my apologies if that's the case. You can always save this for when you're on a hard surface. Exhale, back to your downward facing dog. And once again, an optional vinyasa, or the combination of movement and stillness that allows you to connect, integrate, assimilate. When you're ready, back to downward facing dog. Inhale, heels lift, look forward. Exhale, step or hop your feet to meet your hands. Inhale, lift halfway. Again, straighten legs, lean towards that edge like you're on the precipice. Exhale, fold. Can you keep your legs straight as you fold? Inhale, reach for the sky. Exhale, arms by your sides. Pause, take a moment to feel and sense. By offering yourself the pause, you get a chance to see, what's it like now? And what's the next right action for me to take? That's perhaps more of a response than a reaction. When you're ready, back to chair. Inhale, bend your knees, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward, hinging from your hips, trying to work with those straight legs. Inhale, lift halfway, look forward. Exhale, downward facing dog. From your down dog, inhale, lift your right leg up towards the sky. You can lift your left heel high as well. Exhale, step forward for warrior two. Ground your back heel, windmill up. Now this time from the warrior two, transition into a high lunge and then the revolved lunge with elbow over thigh. If you want to watch first, go ahead. You're going to lift your back heel, turn your chest around towards your front leg. The left arm will reach up and hook, and I usually make fists here because it helps to contain and pull the energy in as I twist. Then inhale, expanding out. My fingers open up back to the warrior two. Heel comes to the floor in the warrior two. Try that a few times. Reaching left arm up, spinning forward, exhaling, hook elbow over thigh into the twist. Inhale, expand into the warrior two, arms out, turning chest to the long edge. Exhale, ringing around, twisting, elbow to thigh, drawing in towards the center. Inhale, unraveling away from that center, arms extend out into warrior two. Your choice, you can keep moving dynamically between these two postures, or you can pause and hold either one as we experiment for the last couple seconds here. The next time you're in the warrior two, return to downward facing dog. From your downward dog, you can move through the vinyasa, perhaps doing that chaturanga or sit-up style movement today. Checking in, giving yourself a moment to really feel and sense. We'll meet in the downward facing dog and do the second side. Inhale, reach left leg up and back, three-legged dog. Exhale, warrior two, step forward, ground your back heel, lift your torso up. Sense into the stability of your front leg. Lift your back heel, turn your chest forward, and hook elbow over thigh. Inhale, unravel to warrior two. Do that a few times. Exhale, coils you in and around, back heel lifts. Inhale, expands you into the warrior two. Now the back heel lifting will make the balance a little tricky as you come into the high lunge, but it makes the twist a little easier. And so if you wanted to, you could experiment with keeping the back heel down and twisting around, but my knee generally is not so happy with that. So I tend to prefer the heel lifting. At any time, you can pause in either the warrior two or in the revolved high lunge, giving yourself a moment to sense and feel into that. The next time you're in the warrior two, follow that to downward facing dog. And once again, you can move through a vinyasa. Maybe it's a table pose with the cat-cow. Child's pose is another option. Squatting or the malasana, which is a very similar shape to child's pose and is one of my favorite resting positions. But you might not find it very comfortable, so something else could be better fit for you. When you're ready, come back to the downward facing dog. Take an extra breath there. Now set your blanket up so that it is between your knees and your hands, and lower your knees onto it. If you remember the stepping forward we did earlier, we're going to experiment with that a little bit here. So start with your toes pointed on the floor. Step your right foot forward. Now, without using your back leg, and maybe even without using your hands, step off your back leg and come up onto your feet. Now lean into the right leg, and can you negotiate your back leg coming to the floor with your knee touching at exactly the same moment or just before your toes? It's challenging, by the way. Switch sides. Left foot steps forward. Can you leverage and negotiate your weight forward without using your back leg to lift you up? So it's a front leg experience. Now, if you haven't done this recently, it's going to be really challenging. So try it a couple more times, using that lean forward to leverage your weight, and let your arms do whatever they need to give you that leverage. It's much harder for me on my left leg than it is on my right. Now, the next time your right foot is in front, we're going to add a piece to this. So feel free to take a peek if you like. Your right foot will step forward. Now, as you lift your left leg up, you're going to reach your left hand to your left foot and come into dancer. And then you'll bend your front leg, lower your knee to the floor, and return out. And you'll do the, now I find this one helpful to do a few times on the same side and then switch. So let's try 3 on the first side together. When you're ready, step your right foot forward. Give yourself that leverage to lift your back foot. As you do that, reach the left hand to grab the left foot. Come into the dancer pose. If you want to lean chest forward, leg back, you can. When you're ready, let go of the back foot. Bend your front knee, lower knee and foot to the floor. 2 more times. Same side. Lean into the front leg. Lift your back leg. As you come up, reach for the foot. Come into the dancer pose. Let go of the foot. Use your arms to kind of leverage yourself here. I'm using mine as a little bit of like a momentum builder. So you'll notice my bottom leg, that's the left leg. I start with that arm down. And as I come up, that arm starts to reach high, and then I use it to grab the foot. Now this time, if it's working well for you to lower the knee down, would it be possible to hang on to your foot as you bring your knee to the floor? Whew, that was pretty tricky for me. Now when you're ready, we'll do 3 on the second side. Step your left foot forward. Lean into that front leg, push, lift, reach with your arms to create some momentum. Grab your back foot with your right hand, then slowly lower back to the floor. Repeat 2 more times. Whew. Push into the front foot, lift up, hand grabs the foot as the left arm reaches forward, lower back to the earth. Last one. Up you go. You can use your breath. Feel free to linger. When you're ready, would it be possible to hold on to your back foot as you lower down? And the answer might be not today. When you're ready, knees to the floor. Tuck your toes under, sit back onto your heels. Now, depending on how your knees and feet feel, tip your heels to the floor, knees come up, coming into the Malasana. Would it be appropriate for your toes and knees to reverse that? Chest moves back, knees move forward, bring knees to the mat, inhale up. Now from here, squeeze your buttocks, make your side body super long and strong. I'm gonna just move my stuff forward so it's a little easier to see against the light background. Initially, toes tucked under, and really find yourself moving as straight as a strong board back. Feel it in the quads. Come forward. Repeat again. Lean backward. Shift forward. When you're ready, tip buttocks back to heels. Malasana. From the Malasana, tuck your chin to your chest and wiggle the fingers forward. Could be helpful here to sit up on a block as I'm showing now, or to grab, or both, to grab your blanket edge and bring your edge under your heels, like a little high heel lift. And it's really more like a modest wedge. So when you're ready, tuck your chin into your chest and feel your back body round a little bit here. And notice what it feels like to root your heels into something. Maybe it's your blanket, maybe it's your sticky mat. If they're not rooted, can you imagine that they are? When you're ready, slowly uncurl your spine. You can slide the blanket off to the side. Now from your Malasana, we'll come into Uttanasana, the standing forward fold. Could be helpful to have your blocks here. Can you keep your ribs and thighs touching? To lift your feet. Can you experiment if you're is what has to in elbows your knees, walk hands and feet, returning to your downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, inhale, plank. Lower onto your belly here. You can do chaturanga if you like, or any other way down. When you're on your belly, pause. Notice how the floor gives you feedback for your breath. Tune into your heart rate. When you're ready, inhale, lift your chest, lift your legs, come into Shalabhasana. Exhale, lower back down. Repeat that again. Inhale, chest lift, legs lift, Shalabhasana. Exhale, lower down. You could repeat this exactly as you have a couple times or hold it. The other option would be to do the bow pose, the Dhanurasana, where you reach back for your feet. And as you grab your feet, Like an archer, can you press your feet back to string the bow of your heart open? You can flex your feet or point your feet. Sometimes it feels good to rock a little forward and backward here. And when you're ready, release back to the earth and take a pause. You can wiggle your hips a little bit side to side. Bend your knees and windshield wiper your shins and legs. When you're ready, inhale back to table and sit on the edge of whatever lift you have gathered here today for your practice, blanket or cushion of some sort, block. And as you sit on the edge of that lift, take your legs a little wide apart and check in for a moment. With a lift underneath you, this next part gets quite a bit easier. And so if you want to make it a little higher, go for it. Now, take your hand inside your right knee, and I'm leaning back a little bit to pull my right knee into the Malasana position. So the knees and the toes are pointing a bit out to the side. Then take the Malasana leg, use your hands, and step it forward. So it's more knee forward, toes forward. Then tip it out to the side like you're doing Baddha Konasana, the cobbler pose with that leg. Now, only if it's okay on your knee, you're going to lean and rotate and tip like you're coming into Virasana, the hero pose. So my right foot is outside right hip. There's some little bit of space between. Now reverse that. From Virasana, come back to Baddha Konasana. From Baddha Konasana, come back to knee in front. From knee in front, go knee and toes out to side, and then straighten the leg. Just check in with what that feels like on that leg and hip. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So use your hand to help you tuck foot and knee up into the wide-legged position. Use your hands to help you step the foot narrow, pointing forward, knee, toes pointing forward. Tip your knee out to the side. So I'm using hand to support the ankle as knee goes into Baddha Konasana. And then only if it's okay on your knee, lean to the side and rotate into Virasana. Now this one would be contraindicated for folks if you have knee issues here. So don't do this one. Then reverse. Lean back, tip into the Baddha Konasana. Return to the knee upright position. Return to the knee out to the side position and legs straight. We're going to repeat all of that on the first side, but this time you can experiment without using your hands. So first it's the wide-legged knee, knee and toes pointing out. It's knee and toes point forward. Baddha Konasana. And then the internal rotation for the Virasana. That one's super hard for me to do without my hands helping, so notice that for you. I have to lean quite a bit towards the straight leg to return to Baddha Konasana. Knee and toes point forward. Knee and toes point out. Straight leg. Second side. Knee and toes point out. Point forward. Tip out to the side. Without using your hands, can you find your way into the Virasana? That's probably something that's going to take a little time to unpack. And then reverse through each of those movements as you come out. Now, we'll do it one more time, but we're going to pause in each of the stations and add a little bit of an exploration with your spine. So start with the right leg coming in, come into Malasana. Now take your knee and elbow, so the elbow's inside the knee. Now push them together so they're trying to create hug of war, and turn your chest away from your right knee. As you do that, spin the belly, notice what you feel. Really activate the straight leg. So heel presses down, quadricep engages, feeling into that breath. Now turn neutral with your torso and step your right foot directly in front of your right hip. Now spin your belly towards your right knee, unless you're pregnant or menstruating, and then spin away like you just did. And check in with how this twist feels different. Honoring breath and movement. Now unravel torso, back to center. Come into the Baddha Konasana position. Now for this, I recommend folding straight forward and seeing how that feels for your torso. So you'll take your chin to your chest. One leg is straight out to the side. The other leg is out to the side but bent. And chest moves straight forward in front of your pelvis and pubic bone. When you're ready, inhale, lift your torso. Now, if it's okay for you to do the Virasana, do that. If it's not, you can stay with the knee bent as it is and lean up and over like this. So it's revolved Janu Sirsasana. So you'll lean to the straight leg. Now, if your leg is okay with doing Virasana here, you can do that same lean, but with a Virasana leg. So either Baddha Konasana with right leg or Virasana, your choice. Lean towards the straight leg. Now, sometimes I find it really helpful to take my bottom hand and support the head so it has a little bit of a shelf. Other times I use my top hand to support the head, which gives me a lot more sensation on that top shoulder and rib basket, even sometimes into the waist. Inhale, lift back upright. Now we're going to go through the stations of the leg, but we're not going to do the torso movements as we reverse. Return to Baddha Konasana, to the front leg and foot position, to the wide leg bent knee position, to the straight leg. And notice the difference between the two sides for a moment. If you need to adjust your blanket height, feel free. If possible, without using your hands, step your left foot in, take a left elbow inside left knee and turn away from your left leg. Now I have my right hand on the floor. A block could be really helpful to create that sense of lift as you turn. It's really common to drop the head forward in twists. I just caught myself doing it. So can you bring your head in and arrange it over your torso, over the lower parts of your spine? Pushing through the bent knee foot and the straight leg heel. De-rotate your torso. Step, maybe even without using your hands, step your foot forward. Now lift tall and turn towards that bent knee. Check in with your torso, your head. Can you line up and arrange things so there's ease and congruency? So you're not tipping forward or backward of the midline of the central axis. When you're ready, de-rotate back to the center. Without using your hands, if possible, tip left knee out to the side for Baddha Konasana. Take hands to the floor in front of you and lean forward a bit between your legs. As you experiment with this forward movement here, notice how the straight leg hip and the bent leg hip feel different. And if there's something that doesn't feel quite right for you, can you change it so it feels better? Sometimes that means backing out, and sometimes it means doing something really different altogether. When you're ready, walk your hands back in, possibly leaving the leg as it is as you reach and side bend towards the straight leg. If it's possible for your hip and knee, you can come into the Virasana position. Ooh, this one's much harder for me. And in the Virasana position, leaning to the side. So this one is kind of a variation of Parigasana, the gate pose from Ashtanga Vinyasa, which is different than the Parigasana that they do in the Iyengar system. But both are side body movements. So as you check in with this, what does it ask of you? How can you support yourself a little more? Maybe you use your bottom hand for your head and neck. Maybe it's the top hand. When you feel ready, lift your torso back to neutral and reverse those movements of the bent leg, if possible, without using your hands. If needed, use your hands to support you. And with both legs straight, you'll go ahead and take your hands under your knees, draw the legs together, lower onto your back. I recommend having a blanket up nearby for under your thighs in Shavasana. We're heading that direction. First, create this sense of scooping, like you're trying to tuck your tailbone towards your knees. I think of this as being like a roly-poly bug, and they curl in really tight. And as you curl in really tight, can you slowly unfurl yourself open towards the floor? Once you reach the earth, bring your arms anywhere it's comfortable for you. Inhale, tilt your tailbone into the floor as if you're trying to pull your feet towards your shoulders. Exhale, push your feet into the floor, and like you're trying to push your feet away from you and push your torso away from your feet. And do that a few times. Inhale, pull your feet towards you, tilting tailbone into floor. Exhale, push your feet away from you, scooping tailbone towards knees and low back to the earth. Do this a few more times. Noticing that spinal wave combined with the leg activation. And is there anything you could soften a little bit here? I was just noticing my fingers were like, psh, and so bringing some intentional softening to the fingers, to your jaw, to your tongue, your forehead, your eyes. Whenever you finish this movement pattern, find your way into Shavasana. If it feels good to you to keep doing that, go ahead. If you have space where you can do legs up the wall here, that would actually be a really nice way to finish this practice since we didn't do any inversions today. And my intention was to kind of do a little bit of everything in our practice, kind of a well-rounded practice. And so an inversion would be a nice legs up the wall period at the end of the sentence for that. As you soak and settle in, noticing the rest, the ease, the dropping of your bones. If it feels good to you, you can rest one hand on your torso, maybe in the area of your heart, and the other on your diaphragm belly area. As you rest in Shavasana, in your final position of ease today, give yourself a little time to not do and to receive. Slowly roll to one side, taking your time transitioning and pausing here for a few moments. Use the strength of your bones to push your way up to seated, and bring your palms together in front of your heart. And coming back to the practice we began with, of using 2 words to describe your present experience. I encourage you to take this practice with you into your work and your life and your relationships, and to see if it helps you find a pause where you can check in and identify the next right action that is responsive, that is helpful to yourself and to others in these challenging times. Take a moment to offer yourself gratitude for the time and dedication and discipline that it took to get here. And may this time that you cultivated here in this practice be in service to you, to others in your life, and to all beings. I thank you for sharing your practice with us today. It's such an honor to be with you. Thank you so much.